know, I swam races where I wasn't in shape to swim them, and they hurt so bad. So I always tried to push myself almost over the limit in swim practice, so that when it came meet time, I was ready. I could honestly look down at every block and say, I worked harder than that guy did. I worked my fanny off for this race. You're not going to take it away from me. And that's the attitude that I wanted to portray, and that's the attitude I did portray. You know, I might not have, you know, somebody might have worked harder, but in my mind, I worked harder than they did.
Swim Stadium at the University of Southern California on a beautiful day and a very large, festive, certainly enthusiastic crowd. The 100-meter breaststroke finals will be our first event. And you see the parade of swimmers. John Moffitt holds both the Olympic and the world records. And Moffitt is indeed an interesting story. He and Lundquist figure to be the two best in this field. But Moffitt has his upper right thigh heavily bandaged, and whether or not he'll be able to swim to his credentials is something we just don't know.
Well, about 2 weeks before the Olympics, in training camp, I pulled a muscle in my leg, and I didn't think it was anything too serious at the time, but it came out to that in the morning prelims of the 100 breaststroke at the Olympics, I tore the muscle, and it got to the point where I didn't think I was going to be able to swim finals, and I had to swim with shots of local anesthetic and a wrap around my leg.
Well, injury or not, John Neighbor, he certainly had a magnificent race, setting a record in doing so, and it's not an injury that's uncommon to athletes.
Well, as a matter of fact, we might remember this injury as the one that occurred to the figure skater Randy Gardner with his partner Ty Babiloni at the Lake Placid Games. He pulled it, he re-injured the leg on the turn in the morning's preliminaries, and in spite of the fact that he swam half of that race injured, he broke the Olympic record. So he's hoping to be able to get through the pain and do well here. This competition, we just saw him in lane 2, Steve Lundquist. Red Stocks here from Australia. The Australians are very strong here, well represented in this competition, but I believe that some real competition is going to come from lane 7, Victor Davis, the world record holder in the 200. This, of course, is John Moffitt, who has been perennial runner-up to Steve Lundquist in earlier championships, upset him for the first time at the Olympic trials a month ago in breaking the world record. So he's certainly a hometown favorite here as well.
Another Australian now to be introduced in lane number 5 will be Peter Evans.
From Australia, a Commonwealth Games finalist, Peter Evans.
Adrian Morehouse of Great Britain will be in lane 1, Lundquist in lane 2, Stocks of Australia in lane 3, Moffitt of the United States in 4, Evans you saw a moment ago. This is Gerald Morken from West Germany. He will be in lane 6. And to be introduced, Victor Davis from Canada will be in lane 7. Avignano of Italy will be in lane 8. As you watch the race, I'll remind you that the lanes are 1 through 8, and they start at the top of your screen.
Notice the Canadian maple leaf heart over Victor Davis's, or tattoo over his heart. Very proud Canadian, and the Canadians really want to bring home some gold in this swimming competition. They've never won a gold medal in Olympic swimming before.
Well, they've got a talented crew here this time around. There's Avignano of Italy. And now they approach the blocks to get this 100-meter breaststroke final underway. You're looking at John Moffitt, and as he stands on the blocks, you'll be able to see the tape on his upper thigh, on his right leg. And I would imagine that Moffitt, Lundquist, the Canadian Victor Davis are going to be very prominent in this race. You can see the wrapping up there.
I should mention that the kick is the most crucial part of this stroke, and no other stroke are the legs as important.
As you look at the race, lane number 1 is to the top of your screen, and a good start. That's Morehouse in lane 1. Steve Lundquist is in lane 2, and Lundquist has taken an early half-body length lead over the rest of the field that looks very... They could all tie right now for second if they stop the race, the way Lundquist has gone out on top.
Well, Lundquist is renowned for his fabulous start off the blocks and very good turns, which makes him very strong in a shorter pool. This being the longer 50-meter pool, he's got a lot of hard swimming still to do, and he looks like he's very strong. Look at the whip action of his legs.
Evans of Australia, as they make the turn, this is a 50-meter pool. It's down and back. You can see that Lundquist has lengthened his lead, and in the yellow hat there, you've got Evans of Australia, and nearest to you with the maple leaf of Canada is Victor Davis. But it appears, John Neighbor, to be Lundquist's race all the way. And I don't see Moffitt being an item in here at all.
Lundqvist has fantastic control. Being in an outside lane, there's no one near him that he can see. He knows he's racing against lane 7 in the bottom and possibly Moffitt, and he's going to stroke it out.
Lundqvist wins it easily, and a world record on top of it. You see the old record of 102.13, and his time unofficially at 101.65. And there is Lundqvist. He and Moffitt back and forth have traded off records, and today certainly was Lundqvist's day.
I hear a little clip of his heels there. He's real happy with that performance.
Unofficially, they've got Davis of Canada second and Evans of Australia third. And now it's been given to us as official, a new world record, and of course a new Olympic record as well, 101.65, Steve Lundqvist. And there he is with Moffitt in a consoling gesture to a fellow teammate who was badly injured and unable to really swim to his credentials.
Look at Steve Lundqvist at the top of the screen. He does a short pull just before the wall because he didn't want to waste time with the full stroke. Watch here. A little snap of the wrist gets him into the wall, just that couple of tenths of a second ahead of the Canadian Victor Davis, wins the gold medal, and boy, is he happy with that.
So the Australian Peter Evans finishes third, and Lundqvist with a little victory swim. As he savors this moment, of course, you see the time, 101.65, a new world and Olympic record. Steve Lundqvist winning the 100-meter breaststroke.
Shortly after your race is over, you get out of the pool and you look up at your time and you look at your other competitors and you get out, you congratulate everybody, and then you wave to both stands and the team and the team you're with, and it's such a great feeling. And as soon as you get through with that, some guy comes over to you, he's an official, and he takes you back in the back wings and says, you know, you've got 1 hour to report back to the testing station. That's the station where they test you for all kinds of drugs to see if you're illegal by the Olympic Committee standards. And then you go to the press room where members of the press from all over the world are sitting, wanting to hear your story. And then you get out of there and you wait in the wings for the march out of the athletes. The top 3 guys get marched out. So you're standing there, you know, talking with the 2 other guys, and then all of a sudden the crowd just gets silent. And you hear these trumpets go off. And it's the Olympic song. And then you march out shortly after that behind a few people. And you look up in the crowds, both stands, and you wave, you know, and then they stop you in front of one of the stands. And you wave up at the crowd and you look, and everybody's either waving a flag or saying congratulations in their own language, and it's a neat feeling. It's something you can't pass up.
And now the award ceremony and presentation. Lundqvist leading the second and third place finishers, Victor Davis of Canada, Peter Evans of Australia, as they come out before a very enthusiastic crowd of understandably biased Americans, I would think. There's a predominance of the United States flag there waving. And Lundqvist, you'd be hard-pressed to find a happier guy, John Neighbor, than Steve Lundqvist at this moment.
Not to take anything away from the swim, he's also smiling because by winning and being the top American in this event, he automatically qualifies to swim on the American medley relay team, which is almost a sure bet for the gold medal. So with that one swim, Steve Lundqvist could possibly be a double gold medalist. And so there's more than one reason to smile today.
And now the parade brings him to the awards presentation stand. Lundqvist along with Davis and Evans of Australia. And they're being positioned now for the presentation of the gold, silver, and bronze medals. And then, of course, the playing of the national anthem.
You can see the demeanor in the faces of the 3 athletes. Peter Evans obviously thrilled to medal. Victor Davis, I understand, believed he could have won this event, and he's a little bit less than pleased with the silver. In fact, it's really very painful for him to be standing at the silver medal podium.
There's the announcement for Lundqvist. A wave to the crowd. And now the presentation of the Olympic gold medal, 100-meter breaststroke champion, And I'll tell you, he did it in style. A world record, 101.65. If indeed Davis thought he was going to beat that, he would have had to swim just a little bit better.
In 1984,
out of a relaxation room where he's been trying to calm himself down, loosen the muscles, and so it's just
looks like he succeeded. He was yawning as he came out of there. The man that you're going to have to beat is this man right here from West Germany, Michael Gross, who might be just as great a swimmer as has ever been produced. Magnificent athlete, and he is how tall? 6'7", 6'8"?
Well, they call it 2 meters plus over there, but yes, it's 6 feet 7 inches in height, but his wingspan, he can reach 7 feet 2 inches side to side, so they call him the albatross.
Well, he holds both the world and the Olympic records, the world record of 147.55, the Olympic record of 148.03, and he indeed will be the man to beat if indeed anybody can. He'll be swimming out of lane 4. There's Peter Dale of Australia. There are 2 Americans entered in this 200-meter freestyle. This is Jeff Float, and you say that of the 2, Float would be second choice and Heath would be your first, huh?
Jeff is one of the team's tri-captains along with Tracy Calkins and Jill Sturkle, and he's a real strong team leader, but in this event, he's not favored to win.
Another member of the West German team, Thomas Farner, and he indeed is a very accomplished swimmer. He'll be swimming out of lane 3, and the man swimming right next to him is the best in the world at this event, Michael Gross.
On the strength of the West German performance in this event, they also own the world record in the 4x200 freestyle relay because Farner is also seated very high in the event. Of course, Michael Gross is very good in this event, and as a matter of fact, they will be hard-pressed to be beaten in the 200 relay.
From the United States in lane 5 is Mike Heath.
Record holder from the United States, Mike
Heath, just out of the relaxation room, as John Neighbor said, appears to be set and ready to go now.
He's a newcomer in the top ranks of American swimming, exploded onto the scenes at the Olympic trials, winning a couple of events. We can look forward to hearing a lot from him in the years to come.
Alberto Mestre Sosa is from Venezuela, and he'll be swimming out of lane 6. Out of lane 7, out of Holland, will be Frank Gross. Lane 8 will be the Italian swimmer Marco Dell'Uomo. This is Gross from Holland. World-class competitors, but quite frankly, Michael Gross makes everybody pale by comparison. His times, his style, magnificent. That long wingspan. He's probably the tallest swimmer we've ever seen, John Neighbor, as that obviously is no hindrance to the man.
Certainly isn't, Tom. The fact that he's 7 feet 2 inches from fingertip to fingertip gives him an advantage. He can reach further, cover more distance with fewer strokes. So we can watch him there on the left, having a slower turnover than the shorter Michael Heath on his left, our right. But the race will come from those 2 center lanes.
So we're set now for the men's 200 freestyle. Top lane, that's farthest from where you're looking. Peter Dale of Australia, Float of the United States, Farner of West Germany, Gross of West Germany, and a very good start. We anticipate the race will be in lanes 3, 4, 5, maybe 2, 3, 4, and 5, with Float of the United States as well. That is Gross that has taken an early lead and a battle for second place. We see down below that Mestre of Venezuela has got an early sprint and is moving out to challenge, but Gross makes the turn first at the end of 50, and he seems to lengthen his lead just about a half a body length, and that's Mestre swimming in lane 6 out of Venezuela, who has the cap on, who's putting a pretty good race on.
We can already see the slower turnover beginning to have its greater effect. Heath, between the 2 leaders, Mestre and Gross, is having a very good turnover. Gross a lot slower, using a lot more of his kick, getting full reach forward, full pull of the water back. And the size of his body helps him propel himself off the walls and off the start, as we saw.
With every turn, he lengthens his lead. They finished 100 meters, and he is a full body length in front. You can see the battle going on for second place. In lane 5, as you look at Gross now, is Heath, who is battling for second place, along with Thomas Farner, who's in lane 3. But Heath now has assumed the position of second place. Mestre in lane 6 is dropping back a bit. Another turn, 150 meters. They're headed for the final 50 and the payoff, and out in front and really pulling away now in expected fashion is Gross of West Germany.
He's well under world record pace, and he doesn't look like he's fighting for it. He's in complete control, and Heath very good swim for him, and he's still way behind the lead.
World record is 1:47.55, which Gross holds. He's approaching the finish. Heath appears to have second. Gross touches. Heath indeed does get second, and you can see that Gross has broken his own world record of 1:47.55 with a new time, 1:47.44, as he glances up into the sun, gets a congratulatory hug from teammate partner. And for the life of me, John Neighbor, the man does not even appear to be winded. Just a routine swim in the park.
You know, total control. I'm sure he's tired, more tired than it appears to us, but I think that the pleasure of winning, and of course teammate Tom Farner, who's planning to enroll at USC next season, the West German pride is very strong here. 2 medalists for West Germany makes him a real contender in that relay coming up.
And impressive, he beat the second-place man, Mike Heath, by 2 full seconds. So while he set a world record for Heath, that was not indeed his very best swim. Here is the style of Mikhail Gross.
Look what makes him such a powerful adversary. The long underwater strokes. He seems to hesitate in front. He's really making a good catch on the water so he doesn't spin his wheels, if you will. Pulling deep underwater, keeping his arm almost straight on the underwater pull, gets a full forward motion, and he pushes the water all the way back behind his suit, getting full use of every inch of his reach.
Magnificent upper body strength. When you see him first as he approaches the pool, you get the impression he's not strong, but he certainly is. World record performance. Mikhail Gross of West Germany in the 200-meter freestyle. As you look at him, most of New Zealand, Barron of Sweden, Castro of Venezuela, Morales of the United States, and Gross of West Germany. Then Jameson, Buchanan, and Barron. Pablo Morales of the United States has both the Olympic and the world records that he holds. However, he'll be hard-pressed against the talented West German, Mikhail Gross. Gross is looking for his second gold medal of the Olympics. They'll be swimming in lanes 4 and 5, and while I don't mean to denigrate the talents of the others, I would think that that's where the race will be. The butterfly and the freestyle, John Neighbor. They're compatible, I guess.
Most certainly they are, Tom. If you take the human body and divide it down the middle plane, if you alternate the halves, swimming at different times, that looks like the freestyle. Do them together and it's the butterfly. It's the same underwater pull.
This is 100 meters. The pool is 50 meters long, so it's down and back, a very quick event. Remember the world record and the Olympic mark. 53.38 for the Olympic, 53.78 the world record.
Pablo Morales here is one of America's brightest stars on our future horizon. He's a very young up-and-comer, but boy, does he have talent.
So it's a good start. Lanes 4 and 5 is where the race will be, we think. And we see Morales and Gross almost stroke for stroke. Gross a little bit in front. Morales now dead even with him.
Look at the kick. Gross there in lane 5. He's hooking his legs fully out of the water, emphasizing the downward thrust of the legs. Watch the turn here. Look at that. Morales had a double or triple dolphin kick off the wall that gained him a half a body length over Gross.
As we head to the final 50 of the butterfly, and remember now that Gross at 6'7" or better stands head and shoulders above Morales when they're out of the water, and that height may be a great advantage for him as they come to the final meters here. You can see the time ticking away.
Morales' stroke looks good and close to the water surface. Gross is picking his head up a little bit more.
And they're coming to the wall, and Gross touched just inches and seconds ahead of Pablo Morales, and they're calling it a new world record at 53.08. And the amazing Albatross from West Germany has won his second gold medal, and he's very, very enthusiastic about it. Gets the congratulations of Jameson of Great Britain. In the upper portion of your screen, you can see a saddened, disconsolate Pablo Morales as he looks at the scoreboard and then looks at Gross as if to say, how could you do it? Gross goes over to speak with him. Here's another look at the last few meters of the butterfly.
Notice the two people are swimming side by side right now, taking a stroke at the same time. Now watch the difference in strokes. Morales comes out of the water ahead. He is taking 5 strokes to 4 of Gross's, and it's the experience here at the finish that lets the older Gross get to the wall first. Watch him. Instead of taking a stroke here, he flicks his ankles, thrusting his arms forward, and he coasts into the wall just 0.2 of a second ahead of another world record performance. Morales broke the existing world record for a silver medal.
Gross wins his second gold medal.
Was that the Olympic trials, I think, was so much more difficult as far as emotion and trauma, and people don't understand how difficult it was. You know, you could have cut the air with a knife. Everybody was so nervous. Like when we were in the ready room, not a soul was talking. Usually everybody's there either trying to psych each other out or just talking to relieve the pressure. Well, nobody was talking at the Olympic trials. And your parents and your friends and any magazine, from Life to People to Time to Newsweek, all those were all there. And they had been interviewing you months before saying, what are the Olympics going to be like? And there's no way. You know, I couldn't even look toward the Olympics. I had to look at Olympic trials. Because if you have one bad day, one missed start, one missed turn, you're shot.
The pool at the University of Southern California, the McDonald Swim Stadium. I'm Tom Kelly along with John Neighbor. The 4x200-meter freestyle relay event in the United States with the Olympic and world record, one they set this morning, John.
That's right, the American B squad. American top two swimmers in the 200 freestyle were not on the morning's heats, and we still broke the world record, so America's definitely favored here, but West Germany held the world record just a few days ago.
And they'll be swimming against each other out of lanes 4 and 5 as we look at Jeff Float, one of the American competitors. And Float will be joined by Mike Heath, Dave Larson, and Lawrence Bruce Hayes as the American team. We think it'll be the United States and West Germany. The teams coming in give every indication of that. Farner and Korthals and Schwartka, and of course Mikhail Gross to be swimming the anchor leg for the West Germans. Anybody else you see with a legitimate chance at this, John Neighbor?
The only way for any of the other 6 teams to get into the top 2 spots is for a disqualification to occur as a result of a false start. The West German and American squads are by far outdistancing the rest of the field.
United States swimming out of lane 4, West Germany out of lane 5. That's Heath into the water for the United States and Farner for West Germany. Remember, this is the 4x200 freestyle relay, and the pool is 50 meters, so it's up and back and up and back, and then your teammate is in the water. Very competitive, and the world record was set 7:14:69 by the United States team in the morning trial. And yet there were 2 different people on that team. Who were they, John?
Well, the top 6 qualifiers at the Olympic trials get to make the Olympic team. We have 2 alternates on our relays, the 5th and 6th placers, and that was they earned their spot to qualify the relay team for the finals, and in so doing we got the world record, as you say.
Very competitive in this first 200. We see Heath is out in front. Sweden in lane number 1 putting on a very fine opening show. That's the end of 100, and Heath now, as he makes the turn, appears to have the lead. Sweden in lane 1 is swimming second. In lane 5 is West Germany, and that, of course, the leadoff swimmer is Farner, but that's Heath of the United States in a very powerful-looking performance.
It might be noted that the leadoff position on the relay is a position of privilege, because with a flat start, you're starting from a gun, not another relay swimmer. Your official split can count towards the world record. So Mike Heath could conceivably be trying to set the world record in the 200-meter freestyle as part of the 4x200 freestyle relay. He's got something to prove. He silvered behind Mikhail Gross in this individual event with a time he was unsatisfied with.
Indeed. Well, the crowd is bringing him home with a roar of approval. And now West Germany, Farner has moved into the number 2 spot. As we're looking at Heath approaching the wall, he'll give the United States at least a fraction lead of perhaps a second. Into the water now is Dave Larson and Dirk Korthals for West Germany, and the United States and West Germany are running 1-2.
Mike Heath's split of 1:48.67 is a fantastic swim for him. Much better than he did in the individual event, and that boost will certainly help the American team try to understand that the anchor leg of the West German team coming up is Mikhail Gross, so the Americans have to establish a substantial lead over their opposition if they want to be ahead at the end of this race.
One would think you can't get too big a lead to put Gross away. At any rate, Larson is swimming beautifully. In fact, he is adding on to the lead that Heath gave him as he swims against Korthals. It is a United States-West German event so far as we anticipated it might be. And Larson is swimming beautifully, extending the lead that Heath gave him as he makes the turn after 100. He's a full, 2 body lengths in front of his West German counterpart. What about Larson? Powerful-looking swimmer.
David Larson is one of the older swimmers on the team, one of the more powerful swimmers, very strong in this event, but often an unsung hero because he swims his best swims when a lot of people weren't watching. At the 1980 Olympic boycott era, he was one of our top freestylers. And we were just thrilled to see him hang around to earn the opportunity to go home with a gold medal here.
Well, the second leg of this 4x200 in the hands of Larson is in capable hands indeed. He has widened the advantage now that Heath gave him. Although you can see that Farmer is not about to go away. He's closing the gap now as they come to the end of the 200. And in fact, it is going to be just about a second separating these two men and the two teams, as Larson's big lead evaporates just a bit here as they head for the wall. The United States still on top, and into the water now for the United States is Jeff Float. And his counterpart is Schwatka of the West German team, and this is very close indeed.
It certainly is. David Larson went out a little bit fast in the first half of his leg, and of course he paid the price coming home. He died a little bit. But now Jeff Float, one of the Americans' tri-captains, is out to prove his point. He got fourth in the individual event, did not win a medal of any kind, and this is where he wants to take home the gold.
Well, excuse me, John. The United States and West Germany continue to dominate. The lead now between the two, the United States very slim indeed. And bear in mind, as you're watching the second 50 for the American Jeff Float, that Mikhail Gross is waiting in the wings to swim the anchor leg for the West Germans, and he'll be opposed by Lawrence Bruce Hayes of the United States. A bit more of a lead now as you see Float make the turn ahead of his counterpart Schwatka of West Germany. So while Larson had a lead that dwindled, now Float has opened it up again, John Neighbor.
Yeah, Jeff is pacing himself exceptionally well. You can look how strong his recovery and his underwater pull appears to be. He doesn't want to let go of this lead, and he has to turn over a strong one to anchorman Bruce Hayes. Bruce was not one of the top two swimmers in this event at the Olympic trials, but he is consistently strong on relay swims. Bruce is a little deceptive. He has a lot to save for the last length, so we want to give a strong lead to Bruce. He may end up losing some of it, but he's got a very big finish, so we can look for Bruce Hayes to come on strong in this last length.
Float is doing very well here as he comes to the final 50 and approaching the wall. Again, Schwatka, the West German, closes the gap a bit. So we've seen similarity in these events, with the Americans taking an early lead, and now into the water goes Hayes, and there's Mikhail Gross, and the race is on as Hayes has about a body length given to him lead-wise over Mikhail Gross. We've seen him already pick up 2 gold medals, and look how he closes the gap on Hayes.
Look at the bow wave behind Gross. He's got a very strong kick. Look at the foam coming off the back of his leg, trying to make up a great deal of the distance here in the first quarter of his leg. Off the wall, they're almost tied. Gross has cut the distance remarkably in the first quarter of his leg.
Well, it's stroke for stroke now, quite obviously, and it would appear that Hayes has really got a yeoman's task ahead of him to hold off one of the world's great swimmers, Mikhail Gross, who has taken the lead the Americans had and just eaten it up in the first 50 meters. And look at them, stride for stride as they complete the first 100 meters of this final leg in the men's freestyle. They turn simultaneously. John Neighbor, the race is on. In fact, Mikhail Gross takes a bit of a lead now.
And the American team on the sidelines appears greatly distressed by this fact. Bruce Hayes, of course, all he's trying to do is stay within striking range because he does have this strong last lap. Gross, of course, swimming a fantastic race. His splits are faster than they were when he was swimming for the gold medal, and this is an individual event.
They're approaching the turn for the final 50. There they are, and as they come off the wall, Mikhail Gross has a half a body length on Hayes. You say Hayes has a kick. You'll have to turn it on now, John Neighbor.
Look at Gross breathing to his left. He's keeping a close eye on Hayes. He wants to be sure he watches him, and now Hayes is beginning to make the push.
What a race. Listen to the crowd roar as these two battle to the wire. Hayes is coming on a bit. He may have beaten Gross. They're coming to the wall, stride for stride, and Hayes may have gotten it. Look at the time, 7:15:69.
2/100ths of a second separating these winning teams. Fantastic performance. David Larson on the deck congratulating Hayes What a thrill for this American squad, and the crowd is going wild.
Well, understandably so. What a race, and right to the wire, and just an inch separated the United States and the West Germans. And I tell you, what a race by Hayes, and what a magnificent race by Mikhail Gross, as he erased whatever lead the Americans had. Look at that crowd.
It is unofficial.
Look at the American team saluting the crowd, saluting them. And Mikhail Gross very nearly upset everybody's apple cart.
Without exception, the first three legs of the American squad went out fast and began to fade towards the end of their leg of the relay. Mikhail Gross, he suffered the same problem. He went out real quick. He caught the Americans way too soon, and he didn't have enough to fight off the late charging Bruce Hayes, who swam an exceptional leg of the relay, pacing himself, dragging off of Gross half of the length, and he had the kick necessary to touch the wall.
Heath and Larson, Float, and Hayes in a memorable performance here. And you can see the finish. This is well worth looking at again. Gross is nearest to you. Hayes is to the top of your screen. And how they separated these two at the wall, it's amazing.
What a struggle. Head for head, they're perfectly distant from the wall at this point. Hayes' turnover just a little bit faster, and at this point it's just a matter of rhythm. Whose hand is in the forward position when the wall is at fingertip distance?
But you called it perfectly when you spoke of Hayes' finishing kick. And John, he needed every bit of it to defeat this West German swimming star, Mikhail Gross. And you can see that it's almost as though Gross is in slow motion coming out of the water, and Hayes is just touching right there, and that's what separated one from the other, a matter of 2 or 3 inches. What a magnificent race.
4/100ths of a second separating the two. That converts to about 1.5 inches. Who knows, if they hadn't flipped their nails in the morning, West Germans may have won.
A world and Olympic record, 7:15:69. And you see the American team with high fives for everybody. And the crowd on its feet roaring their approval of a truly magnificent race. The United States in the 4x200 freestyle, the gold medal performance.
In 1984, for the first time in the Olympics, only 2 entries per nation were allowed in any swim event.
Tomorrow, the Spirit of Excellence continues on ESPN. Relive the USA men's team gymnastics triumph, plus an exciting water polo shootout. Then television's most comprehensive Major League report. Get all the latest stats and standings inside baseball. It's all coming your way tomorrow.
The new Olympia electronic typewriters provide the latest technological advances, enhance the performance of each workstation, and continue Olympia's reputation for precise German engineering and durability. Durability almost to the point of indestructibility. Olympia, made in Germany, the way things are made in Germany.
For almost 50 years, Tultex has been making the sweatshirt America's favorite shirt. Tuesday, the Spirit of Excellence thrives. First, the USA women's basketball team battles Korea in the heart-stopping gold medal game. Then, after the men's diving competition, watch history in the making. The United States captures its first women's volleyball medal in a shootout against China. And 1984 marked the emergence of a new NFL power. New England quarterback Tony Eason proves the Pats to be a force for the future. ESPN highlights America's heroes Tuesday.
Good evening once again. Bob Lee back in the Sports Center newsroom. The Spirit of Excellence will continue in just a second. Alex Bauman of Canada will be in the pool at USC. But first, what's been happening in baseball? The Giants' losing streak is over at 10. Giants take the nightcap from Houston 7-4. Chris Brown scored 3 times. Scott Thompson banged out 3 hits. Vida Blue 7 1/3. 7 hits allowed in that time. He picks up his 4th victory. The other National League games still underway. It's still a 2-2 tie now, top of the 8th between the Reds and San Diego. In the American League, The A's and the Rangers now 6-3 Oakland lead. That's in the sixth. Dwayne Murphy with a two-run homer in the top of the sixth inning for Oakland. Meanwhile, today in golf in Memphis, it was Hal Sutton on the first sudden death hole with a birdie from 30 feet, defeating David Ogren and taking the $90,000 first prize in Memphis. Live on ESPN at Tahoe and State Line, Nevada, Miller Barber came in with a three-stroke lead, won the USGA Seniors, and Julie Inkster, the Lady Keystone champion in Hershey, Pennsylvania. The Spirit of Excellence continues on ESPN with more swimming. Enjoy.
400-meter individual medley, and Alex Baumann, the Canadian, a native-born Czechoslovakian, is the man to beat, holding both the Olympic and world records as this field comes around the pool here, McDonald Swim Stadium on the campus of the University of Southern California. I'm Tom Kelly. With me is Olympic gold medalist John Neighbor. Alex Baumann appears to be invincible in this event, John.
His strengths lie in all four of the competitive strokes. It's not that he's going to take over in the backstroke or pull away in the breaststroke. He is strong in each of the four competitive events, and this was as close an event to the decathlon as the sport of swimming has. So he is very, very possibly the finest all-around swimmer in the world. Holding the world record, breaking the Olympic record this morning in the preliminaries, he's certainly favored to win here.
And an added fillip to all of the tension that I'm sure Baumann must feel. His mother, Lyra's in the stands. She, too, of course, a native Czechoslovakian, and indeed was a world-recognized swimmer in her native Czechoslovakia. So she is sitting here watching her son get set to perform in the IM. In lane 1 will be the Australian Robert Woodhouse. In lane 2, in this 8-man event, will be the Italian
Woodhouse of Australia.
Oh, they're introducing Woodhouse now. There's the Italian. He'll be in lane number 2, Maurizio Devano.
European Championship finalist.
He's a finalist in the European Championships. Baumann makes most of these other competitors pale by comparison, though. This is Giovanni Franceschi from Italy, swimming in lane number 3.
Franceschi, also of Italy.
So the two Italians are swimming side by side. Then comes the Canadian, Alex Baumann. Baumann owns the Olympic and the world record in this event.
And new Olympic record.
He appears to be very sober-faced and determined as he walks out to be introduced and receive the applause of the crowd. No-nonsense approach about this for Alex. The American, Jeff Kostoff. You love that hairdo.
A lot of people like to go to no expense at this level, and Jeff Kostoff and American teammate Jesse Visayo have paid the ultimate sacrifice in shaving of heads.
From Brazil, Ricardo Prado. He'll be swimming in lane 6. Kostoff, the American, in lane 5. Remember, Baumann will be in lane 4. The other American in this break, Jesse Visayo, will be swimming in lane 7. We'll get a look at Jesse here in just a moment. He, too, clean-shaven.
Almost completely clean-shaven.
Yes, well, I should say his head is shaved. You're absolutely right, John. He did keep the mustache on.
Jesse is known for his flexibility in his upper shoulders. He and Ricardo Prado have trained together before, so they know each other's speed.
To round out the field, Steve Poulter from Great Britain swimming in lane 8. So it's Woodhouse and Deviana, Franceschi, Baumann, Kostoff, Prado, Visayo, and Poulter. That's the field for the 400-meter IM. The first stroke going out, John?
Well, the former world record holder is Ricardo Prado to the left of to the right of the screen here. Jeff Kostoff and Alex Baumann, the top two qualifiers off the prelims. Kostoff is very good towards the end of the race, the freestyle leg. We can look to Alex Baumann to take the lead sometime towards the last half of the backstroke.
So they'll go out and do the butterfly first?
Butterfly is the first 2 lengths of the pool. This is a grueling race where pace is complicated by the fact that you're changing muscle groups every 2 lengths of the pool. From the upper arm rotation on the butterfly to a backwards and the strong underwater kick in the backstroke. It's a very grueling event, and every muscle is taxed to its limit.
Remember, the first lane is the one to the top of your screen. The lane you'll want to watch is lane number 4, good start. In that lane is Baumann, and they start out with the butterfly. Baumann is right there, though he does not lead. The man in lane number 3, Franceschi of Italy, has taken a brief lead.
Try to remember that because the strokes are changing every 2 lengths of the pool, so too will the swimmer's strengths and weaknesses, and therefore the lead should be a very fluid thing early on in the race.
There's an underwater shot as they touch and make the turn at the wall after the first 50 meters. And again, the Italian, Franceschi. And in lane 6, Prado of Brazil.
Well, Ricardo Prado was the former world record holder prior to losing it to Alex Baumann, so he should certainly be watched as a definite contender in this race. A lot shorter than Baumann. Prado is a stick of dynamite who has a very strong turnover, continually works each and every of the 4 strokes, and that definitely someone to be contended with.
Prado has a bit of a lead now as they approach the wall at the end of the first 100. Turning now, and they go to the backstroke leg, and Prado, toward the bottom of your screen, has taken an advantage down. He's almost a half body length in front. You can see Baumann has come on now after the turn and is swimming in the number 2 spot.
There's Ricardo Prado. He's looking very strong, swimming on the far side away from Baumann, trying not to be in his view. Interesting strategy here. You want to use your legs in the kick, but not use them too much, because soon the next stroke is the breaststroke, where the legs are all important. So you want to maintain your forward momentum without exhausting the oxygen supply in the leg muscles.
Prado has taken the lead after the turn, the first 50. We've got Baumann along with the American Jesse Vasallo very close for second, but Prado has a definite body length lead as he's completing the 100 meters of the backstroke.
And Baumann is way back of the pace here, but it's not to be too concerning because the strokes, 2 strokes still to be forthcoming.
So we've got Prado, we've got Vasallo and Baumann both battling now for the number 2 spot. And they make the turn, Prado hitting first, and the other 2 almost simultaneously. And Prado comes away now as they go to the breaststroke, and Prado still has an advantage, but Baumann now is a very serious contender in the number 2 spot.
First 3 swimmers.
Trying to see these swimmers regaining some oxygen. They're taking big breaths of air as they come to the surface, still trying to reach forward. The arms and the shoulders are beginning to tighten up at this point in the race, and so it's a real conscious effort required to be able to get a full stretch on each pull.
Baumann is a very steady competitor as we watch him. We can see him now inching up into the number 2 spot. He's in lane 4. Prado, as he comes to the wall, will make the turn first, and Baumann has just about caught him, John Neighbor. In fact, they come away almost dead even.
Perhaps the surprise at this point is Jeff Kostoff there in the lane 5 in the middle. He's way out of the race at this point and will require a fantastic freestyle to get back in the thick of things.
So it's head for head now between Baumann, who is in lane number 4, and Prado in lane 6. And Baumann now appears, and indeed has, taken about a half body length lead as they're completing the breaststroke. And the freestyle, quite obviously a good event for the Canadian.
Absolutely. Alex is very strong at this point of the race. In fact, now that he's coming into his own. Ricardo Prado, also a very strong distance swimmer, but doesn't quite have that breakneck speed that Baumann has here at this point.
Baumann continues to lead. It's a credit to these athletes to swim these 4 different strokes and still be able to turn it on, as these 2 men are, as they come to freestyle. That's Baumann in the lead, and Prado a half body length behind him, and nobody else appears to be in serious contention as they're approaching the end of the 50. They will have 50 left in this 400 IM, and Baumann makes the turn on top, a half a body length in front, and it's a battle to the wire.
And a very exciting one, too. Remember, a 4:17.53, the current existing world record held by Alex Baumann. He stole it, of course, from Ricardo Prado right there in the bottom of the screen.
Beautiful race by Prado, though, but Baumann continues to lead, and Prado appears to be headed for second, unless something untoward happens to the Canadian, who appears to be stronger than ever now as he lengthens out a bit and touches first. Baumann wins as expected. Prado second. Beautiful race. And coming in third, the top of your screen was Woodhouse of Australia, who we didn't see too much of because we had centered pretty much on this man, who sets a new world and Olympic record, 4:17.41. The Canadian Maple Leaf flies high in the stands, and I'm sure his mother, Vera, in the stands is a justifiably proud woman this afternoon. Magnificent race.
It's 2 items to note here. That was the first Olympic gold medal in swimming for Canada in a long time. I mean, 70-plus years. Second item of interest is neither American medaled in this event.
Alex Baumann, a convincing winner, new world and Olympic record in the 400 IM, a gold medal performance.
Alex Baumann's win was the first Canadian gold medal in swimming.
Think about it, but you really just fall out, I would think.
Just about. 2 things to the pool. You want to hold a little bit back on the legs on the way out so that you've got a strong enough kick to stay with the leaders and then hopefully touch them out at the wall.
Johnny Gaines, who's the oldest of the Olympians, set the world record in 1981, and Jim Montgomery has the United States Olympic record and it's been a long time, 81 to 84. There's Rowdy, and he persevered and hung around long enough, and here he is with another shot at the goal.
That's true, although he is America's second fastest qualifier off the morning's preliminaries. His time in the heats was 5:50.41, and he's only 2/100ths of a second behind America's fastest qualifier, Mike Heath.
And Heath will be swimming in this event, of course. He'll be in lane number 5. Rowdy will be in lane number 3. And a man they both will have their eye on will be the man from Australia, Mark Stockwell. We'll talk about that in a moment. Here's the lane assignments. Dirk Korthals of West Germany will be in lane number 1. In lane number 2, a swimmer from Switzerland, Dano Halsall from Switzerland, swimming out of lane number 2. In lane 3 is the world record holder, Rowdy Gaines, from the United States, and a very popular man with the crowd and a very popular member of the United States swim team. There's Rowdy.
He almost retired a year ago because he felt his times were not up to his own potential. He felt he'd sort of peaked out. But fortunate for the American team, he stayed with it, earned a spot on the squad in the 100 freestyle, and now he's going for the gold.
And a man they'll be watching, that is, he'll be watching along with Heath, Mark Stockwell of Australia. Good qualifying time.
He certainly did. He had a fantastic swim in the morning, 50.27, well ahead of the two Americans, but still far short of the Olympic record. I think that all of these swimmers are going to improve on the final swim here.
This is Mike Heath, the other American entered in this event, the 100-meter freestyle, and he too qualified well.
He's America's top qualifier, 2/100ths of a second ahead of Rowdy Gaines, 2/10ths of a second behind the Australian Mark Stockwell.
In lane number 6, a swimmer from Sweden, Per Johansson. Big, powerful-looking swimmer.
A lot of people comment that the international swimming teams are getting larger, taller, and stronger. And certainly it's reflected by the size and strength of the teams here.
Alberto Mestre Sosa from Venezuela. He'll be swimming out of lane number 7. And to complete the field out of lane 8, Stefan Caron from France. We must not overlook Per Johansson. This could be a very interesting race, John Neighbor. We've got the world record holder, Rowdy Gaines, Stockwell, Heath, Johansson have all qualified well. Johansson, the 4th leading qualifier, so this could be anybody's event. And it's a very short event, 100-meter freestyle. Strategy may be a part of the race, but really it's into the water and go as hard as you can for as long as you can.
There are two critical parts of this race. To start, getting the jump on the gun, and hitting your turn well.
You see Gaines will be swimming in lane 3, Stockwell in 4, Heath in 5, and Johansson, the Swede, will be swimming in lane number 6, and they're numbered from the top of your screen on down. So the first lane is the one farthest away from you. Good start. They're in the water.
A good start by Rowdy Gaines. It looked like he was anticipating the gun. Everyone else was caught a little bit hanging. Mike Heath in the middle, way back. A real slow start for him. And it looks like Gaines and Stockwell looking to go out with a strong lead.
That's Stockwell with the first yellow cap you see. And Gaines in lane 3 has just a bare lead over Stockwell. And in fact, not much of a lead at all over a very closely bunched field. As he makes the turn, the lead is a bit more evident. Stockwell is swimming second. Down at the bottom, you've got Johansson, the Swede, who is swimming very well. And Rowdy Gaines continues to be a half a body length in front. What a win this would be for the world record holder, a 25-year-old member of the United States team, if he can hang on. What a vindication to struggle and make the club. I think he's going to do it. He did it. Rowdy Gaines has won it. So he didn't have the best qualifying time, but perseverance may be its own reward. And Rowdy jumps out of the water knowing the gold medal is his. What a feeling of exhilaration.
Rowdy had fantastic stroke control. A great start, a good turn, but even on the last half of the length, he was fully extended in his strokes. Beautiful control, a real mature swimmer right to the wall.
And Stockwell and Johansson were right behind him. Not a world record, but an Olympic one. The world record belongs to the old man, 25-year-old gold medalist Rowdy Gaines. And what an emotional moment for the champion.
Rowdy Gaines, a new Olympic record.
Well, winning the 100 freestyle was definitely the best because it was an individual event, and not because the relays weren't good. It's just that I had, in the last 4 years, I had been kind of written off in the press, and I was over the hill and washed up, and you know, I was reading that so much that I kind of started believing it myself. So I went into the games a little negative. So winning that 100 free, it was just kind of like, yeah, I did it. I showed you. I wasn't over the hill, and at the ripe old age of 25.
ripe old age of 25, Rowdy Gaines stands at the pinnacle, having won the men's 100-meter freestyle. There's the gold medal that'll be his.
And in so winning the event, he assures himself a spot on 2 American relays, the 4x100 medley and the 4x100 freestyle. So he opens up the door to 3 gold medals in a single games.
And he owns the world record, of course, now the Olympic mark. What a happy and proud young man. Rowdy Gaines, the gold medalist.
To be allowed to see.
Bridge of the 1985 Sports Festival.
When I was real little, in the summer, my mom always used to take me and my sisters and all our friends, or somebody's parents would take us down there and to the pool, and we'd just spend the whole day there, you know, just mess around with the pool. And then when I was almost 10, my mom asked me if I wanted to join the swim team, and I said, why not?
Lane 6, which is the worst lane you can start out in. That's where all the amateurs sit. And lane 1 was the fastest. So you get faster and faster, and you finally approach lane 1. And that was the big goal, you know. State record, what is that? You know, national record, forget it. American record, world record, Olympics, forget it. I didn't even know what that was. Lane 1 was the big thing, the big stepping stone. So when I was a kid, you know, I always wanted to swim. Very competitive, and my brother started out 3 lanes over, so he was a lot better than I was, and I wanted to catch him.
Tom Kelly and John Neighbor, and we're going to show you what we think is an interesting sidelight to the Olympic competition. You're looking at the consolation finals of the men's 400-meter freestyle, and that's Thomas Farner of West Germany, who is in the 4th lane and who is well in front. Now, he failed to qualify for the finals, John. His times just weren't good enough, were they?
Well, it wasn't they weren't good enough. He intentionally swam slowly in the morning preliminaries, hoping for an outside lane in the championship final to follow. Well, he found himself qualified in 9th place. They only take 8 into the finals. So he is here trying to break the Olympic record where it matters to no one. I mean, there's no medals given out. It's just it's a consolation final.
And we show you him in this consolation event because he truly does swim a magnificent race. In fact, his time is going to be 3:50.91. Now, bear that time in mind, 3:50.91, because it's going to be very important to our story as we continue with action in the men's 400-meter freestyle. This is Thomas Farner of Germany, an obvious and easy winner in the consolation finals. And the time, 3:50.91. Not a world record, the Russians have that, but a very good time indeed.
And notice him slapping the side of the pool. It's so frustrating for him to be so good. He tried to qualify slowly so that he'd be where there would be no turbulence in the finals, and he found himself all alone in the pool.
So now, from the 3:50.91 of Thomas Farner, a new Olympic record, we go to the finals of this event, the men's 400-meter freestyle.
The bell was to indicate 2 lengths of the pool remaining for these swimmers in this distance event. This is George DiCarlo out of Phoenix, Arizona, one of the better distance swimmers, top qualifier for the American squad, and he's swimming towards his Olympic gold medal.
And he is in lane number 3, and you see him leading the pack, and he still has 50 meters to go as he hits the wall and makes the turn, and he has a half a body length lead on the balance of the field. Again, I remind you of 3:50.91, the time turned in by Farner of West Germany in the consolation of this event, which meant literally nothing, except it turned out to be a new Olympic record for the 400-meter freestyle. And now here's George DiCarlo winning the gold for the United States in this event. It's a close race right to the wall, but he does touch first. Look at his time. 3:51.23. The point being, had Farner qualified in, say, lane 8, he would have not only won the event, he would have won the gold medal and set the new Olympic record as well. So George DiCarlo gets the Olympic gold medal, consolation prize to Thomas Farner, the Olympic record.
1984 marked the first Olympics with consolation races in swimming.
His father, to the immediate right of your screen, is Rick Carey's mother. They've got an avid interest in this. Carey, of course, is the man swimming in this 200-meter backstroke, and the man who knows more about this race than most people I could talk to. John Neighbor, who won the gold medal in this event in Montreal in '76. This a tough event, John?
Well, it's grueling. It was grueling for me because it came at the end of the swimming program. This year, it's early in the program, and Rick Carey, he doesn't have much to prove because he is hands-on favorite to win here, but he does want to improve upon his preliminary time, which was an exceptional 1:58.99. Broke my Olympic record, and certainly heavily favored to win here. He had a fantastic start. Good underwater pulls, and he ought to begin pulling away from the field very soon.
Well, Henning of Canada is running a very close second, and Delcourt of France is very close, too, as we look at Carey in the water. How about his form? Look good to you?
Well, his head was keeping rather still. His shoulders, he's very well known for his shoulder rotation. He gets a good underwater pull, but he's not pulling away from the field quite as much as I'd expected of him.
Delcourt is very close to him there in the lane nearest us, lane 5, as we watch Carey make the turn, then Delcourt and the rest of the field in this 200-meter backstroke.
Yeah, Rick seems to have this race under control, but he's not breaking any records. At least his pace isn't heading that way. He does have a very strong 4:50, however.
The Olympic time is 1:58.99. The world record 1:58.86. Take me back to Montreal. What was your time?
1:59.19 in the finals.
We see Carey again holding on, or yet holding on, to a very slim lead over Delcourt of France, right behind him as they make the turn. And Carey continues to have a half body length advantage over Delcourt.
A 1:29 split at the 1:50. He's going to have to bring this race home very quickly if he wants to break the record. Delcourt is not letting go. He's hanging on tighter than anyone who's raced Carey in a long time.
Carey, though, seems to have the advantage, the lead certainly, and the advantage as they come to the wall. And Carey now lengthening his advantage over Delcourt of Canada, and he comes to the wall, I should say Delcourt of France, and Carey touches first, Delcourt is second, and Henning of Canada takes third. So Carey, expected to win, did just that as his mother and father looked on. 2 minutes 23, which is far away from Olympic and world record time. It was 1:58.86, 1:58.99. In fact, you swam faster than that, John.
Well, that may be true in the finals, but Rick is a faster swimmer. He has the records, and so being the perfectionist he is, he can't be happy with that swim. Sure, the gold medal's good. Dad loves it. You got to acknowledge that. But Rick expected so much more of himself. He just can't get himself to smile now.
But he did win, and that's what it is. He has the gold for the United States in the 200-meter backstroke.
After the times came up on the board, I felt a little bit of disappointment, not so much for myself, but more the fact that I felt that I let the crowd down. The press beforehand had picked me to break a world record, come watch and see a world record, and when I didn't do it, I felt that I'd probably let the crowd down a little bit. The people in the stands, the 14,000 in the stands, and the 200 million people on TV, and I felt bad for them that I'd been so close, and yet something was wrong that evening, and I let them down. So it was a disappointment for not just myself, but for everyone involved.
The award ceremony, Rick Carey, winner of the 200-meter backstroke. He led Delcourt of France and Henning of Canada to the wall. His folks look on, obviously pleased. He's about the most somber of all the gold medalists we've seen in the games so far, John Neighbor. He's pretty quiet, reserved. He probably is disappointed about his time.
Well, certainly, that's obvious. I've known Rick for a couple of years, and throughout our conversations, he's not just been talking about winning a gold medal, but rather setting a time, a world record that would be so far away from the field that there would be no question whether or not the Soviets had even attended that he is the finest backstroker in the land. And he doesn't feel he's accomplished that.
Well, indeed, he's accomplished plenty as he reaches down and gets the gold medal placed around his neck.
$10 or this pin for $20. Some of them were going, for $200, $300. I remember my mom was trying to find one from India, which was, I guess, very scarce, and that was quite a thing for her to go around and ask everybody, hey, where's a pin for this? And she really got involved with it. And a bunch of people that weren't that involved with the Olympics got involved with the pin trading.
Welcome back to the swim stadium. You're in time for the 4x100-meter freestyle relay. I'm Tom Kelly, along with Olympic gold medalist John Neighbor. This 8-team field: Italy, France, Sweden, Australia, the United States, Great Britain, West Germany, and Canada. Australia has the Olympic record. The United States 4x100 team with the world record set in 1982, 3:19.26. And we anticipate it'll be lanes 4 and 5 battling it out again, John Neighbor.
This is a real contest for pride because national teams racing for a relay gold medal give it a lot more effort. We've seen Australia's Mark Stockwell in the thick of things in the 100-meter freestyle. He will be anchoring his national team, who broke the Olympic record just earlier in the competition in the preliminaries, and the American squad trying to be the spoilers from lane 5.
Anchoring for the United States will be Rowdy Gaines, and leading off for the United States, Chris Cavanaugh. United States swimming out of lane 5, and Australia out of lane 4, and Greg Fasala leads off the Aussies as well. Up and down the pool for each man, 50-meter pool here at the University of Southern California. 4x100 freestyle relay. Boy, they are tightly bunched as they go through the first 50.
An important part of a relay competition is the exchanges. When the swimmer A touches the wall, swimmer B can then leave the blocks, and you want to anticipate that touch so as to not waste too much time. So
Great Britain's lead swimmer is out on top, while the United States Cavanaugh swimming in lane 5, very close to him, very tightly bunched. They come to the wall at the end of the first 100. You can see the next set ready to go.
Now, this is Mike Heath. Mike didn't win a medal in the 100 freestyle because of a slow start. Now he's looking for revenge. He wants his gold medal, and he wants to take this race out quickly. Of course, the Australian team is a little bit ahead of him, and that's his challenge.
That's the yellow hat there, and that's Neil Brook of Australia, and Mike Heath of the United States. And now Heath has caught up with his counterpart from Australia. They make the turn almost together as they head back down, and you can still see that Brook is just, maybe half an arm's length in front, completing their 100 meters.
The temptation in a relay is to race the guy in the lane next to you, but what you have to do is swim the fastest time you can in the course of your leg. So don't look around in a relay. Just swim the race you know how.
It is Australia and the United States. Biondi waiting for the United States. For Australia, Mike Delaney. And they're in the water simultaneously, picking up where the two ahead of them, Brook and Heath, left off. You can see the Australian Delaney with just a bit of a lead from this camera angle, and it widens just a bit as we pull back here.
Now, what Delaney has done is he's taken the race out far too quickly here. He's racing Biondi. What he should be doing is concentrating on swimming 2 lengths in a smooth pace. Now Biondi, who should have a lot left, should make a big push here. Look at the kick. The kick indicates how much oxygen these swimmers have in their lungs, and it's a real exciting race. The crowd's on their feet.
Well, Biondi has caught the Australian Delaney and, in fact, has taken a small lead over the Australian, who indeed may have spent himself on that opening 50, John Neighbor. Delaney falling a bit behind, and Biondi taking a lead that he hands off to his anchor leg, and that'd be Rowdy Gaines against Stockwell, and these two have battled in previous events, and we expect that they'll go to the wire stroke for stroke. Well, that's Gaines nearest you, and he's on top. Stockwell in the yellow cap is just half a length behind him.
Look how Rowdy seems to be fully extended before his hand enters the water. He's getting every ounce, every inch of distance from each stroke, and the kicking is most important. Look at the wake that's coming off at an angle from these swimmers' feet.
We're in the final 50. In fact, about 25 meters to go, and Gaines has a half body length lead over Stockwell in the finals of the 4x100. And he gives no indication of lessening up, although Stockwell's making a spirited run at him as they come to the final 5 meters, and there's Gaines in front and touches first, and the United States in a time of 3:19.3, and that is a brand new record. So Gaines anchors it to another victory. A new world and Olympic mark, 3:19.3, and Rowdy Gaines is a proud man indeed.
Good performance by all 4 Americans. Chris Cavanaugh established a strong lead. Mike Heath, not to be detracted by the Australians going by and coming back. Matt Biondi, the greenest of all the greenhorns on the team, never been on a national squad quite the way he represented himself here. He's got a lot to look forward to in this country.
Touching moment there. You saw Gaines go over to Stockwell and give him a clenched fist, a handshake, congratulating him on a great race, and Stockwell finds that small consolation, to be sure. Here's another look at it now as they head. This is the going out 50 as they touch the wall with 50 meters yet to go, and that is Gaines nearest you, and he's got a half a body length lead. They come off the wall, and Gaines maintains that advantage through the closing 50. Fine race by Rowdy.
And Rowdy constantly breathes to the right, so on his way down the pool, he could see where the Australian was. Now he's breathing still to his right, now in the other direction, and it's all on guts to the finish.
Well, that's got to be a big temptation, though, not to glance over to see where the guy that you're supposed to beat happens to be, John Neighbor.
Well, in the 100-meter sprint, there's not much you can do to increase your speed. I mean, they're running at full RPMs as it is, and it's just Rowdy Gaines' stroke control. You can see he's not losing any distance at all to Mark Stockwell, and of course, at this point in the race, Stockwell has to be losing hope that he can gain a body length in the distance remaining 5 meters.
Stockwell certainly didn't quit, though. As Gaines touches, Stockwell is not far behind as they come to the wall. Right there, Stockwell 2 strides away, but he manages to touch and come in second. But Gaines with a magnificent leg of the 4x100. New world and Olympic record for the United States team of Kavanaugh, Heath, Biondi, and Gaines. And the happy quartet heads to the victory stand, and the applause of the crowd ringing in their ears.
The U.S. men's relay team has won every Olympic 4x100-meter freestyle, each in world record time.
American Express presents Do You Know Me? A look at the lives and careers of famous athletes.
He holds both the Olympic and the world records for the men's 200-meter butterfly. He quite obviously will be the man to beat, the top guy in the water. And there he is, the tall, almost 6'7", 6'8" performer from West Germany. Already he's won 2 gold medals and a silver. He's a one-man medal gang, John Neighbor.
Swimming World Magazine picked him to be the swimmer of the year last year, and he's certainly in the running for it again this year.
And this event, the 200-meter butterfly, is certainly to his liking. You see the lane assignments: Ward of Canada, Moss of New Zealand, Morales of the United States, that's Pablo, Mikhail Gross of West Germany will be in lane number 4. Rafael Vidal of Venezuela will be in lane 5. Here's Morales, there's Mikhail Gross. He's in lane 4, and certainly the man to beat. Vidal will be swimming against him in lane number 5. He's from, there's a youngster from Australia, John Sieben. He's just 17 years of age, and he's a very accomplished butterflyer. Tom Ponting of Canada in lane 7, and Patrick Kennedy of the United States in lane 8. The world record holder, Mikhail Gross of West Germany, 1:57.05, and he's looking for his 3rd gold medal of the summer game.
The strategy in a 200 butterfly is to conserve your energy without losing a lot of speed in the earlier portions of the race, because the shoulders and the arms and the legs, they begin to give out after about a minute and a half of swimming butterfly.
And a very good start, and they're in the water and underway. Mikhail Gross is swimming out of lane 4. That'd be the 4th lane from the top of your screen, and he generally is quite easy to spot because he's almost always in front. Seldom has to come from behind to win an event. He has 2 gold medals already. Swimming right next to him, Pablo Morales, swimming quite well in lane number 3.
All the swimmers are trying to maintain a very normal breathing rhythm at this early part of the race. They want to have the oxygen in their system by the time the muscles begin to give out. They don't want to have to make up their breathing halfway through the race, so they breathe regularly early on.
In lane 6 is John Sieben of Australia. Mikhail Gross is out in front in lane 4, showing the way. Sieben is running a distant 3rd now. Maybe even 4th. Struggle there. That's Vidal of Venezuela with the cap just a lane this side of Mikhail Gross, running in 2nd now.
Mikhail looks like he's loping along, just a real slow forward motion. In butterfly, you don't want to be coming up and down too much because you waste your time in that area. You want to stay as close to the surface of the water without using up all your oxygen bouncing back and forth. He looks to be very good at this point. Morales is a little bit back off the pace, and they all ought to start making a final push because they're 40 meters from the wall.
Well, they're doing that. Morales came off the wall. He's just to the lane above Mikhail Gross. Just below him is Vidal Castro of Venezuela. In lane 6 is Sieben of Australia, who's making a move now. And Sieben is moving up to challenge for 2nd, and indeed is coming on to challenge Gross for the number 1 spot.
Look at the turnover. He's turning over like a piston machine.
Young Sieben of Australia are deadlocked as they come to the wall, and Sieben touched first. What a major upset. Sieben came from apparently out of nowhere, and you can see the exultation of the young man as he touched first ahead of the world record holder, Michael Gross of West Germany. Well, he looks like he's almost ready to break into tears, such is the emotion he's displaying, John Neighbor. And Gross is looking around as if to say, where did he come from?
Who is that guy, Sieben? His personal best time ever coming into this event was what he did in the earlier preliminaries, a 1:59.6. He improved 2.9 seconds for the finals here, breaking the world record by 1/100th of a second out of nowhere. John Sieben.
Gross comes over to congratulate him and then had to look up at the scoreboard again to make sure that he was congratulating the winner.
Look at the turnover on the bottom of the screen there. John Sieben taking 3 strokes for every 2 of everyone else's. There was no tired shoulders there. There was no slow kick. He had enough power to surge right past everyone at the finish. Had he made his move earlier, Gross may have caught on.
And I tell you, the guy between the two was Rafael Vidal Castro of Venezuela, who was right there, ended up being third, but he was very, very close with Michael Gross. And there's the young 17-year-old Australian, John Sieben, who has come from literally nowhere to win the 200-meter butterfly, a new world and Olympic record, 1:57.4. Well, I tell you, if indeed you're going to flash your best for the world to see it, no place like the Olympics to do it. Sieben, a surprise gold medal winner.
Michael Gross he's a pretty awesome sight. He stands over 6'7", and I think he intimidated a lot of people with his size, but to me he was just another swimmer in the race, and there was no real pressure on me during the race because I wasn't a big favourite to win the race, and so I just treated it as another normal race for me. I didn't take into any consideration of the size of Michael or how good he was. I just went in there to swim my best.
Australia's John Sieben now swims for the University of Alabama under U.S. Olympic coach Don Gambrill.
Records, and the man everyone figures will win this one is Rick Carey of the United States. We see him in the water there. He'll be swimming out of lane 4. A particularly fond event for you, John Neighbor?
It certainly is. I enjoyed the 100 backstroke. 2 lengths of the pool. It's over before you know it. There is room for error, but not much. Turns are very crucial.
Hold it just a second there. I want everybody to notice John Neighbor, Olympic record, 55.49, set in 1976. Carey has the world record.
So if he swims as fast as he's capable, I'm about to lose my Olympic record.
Barron, Crows, Carey, and Carey. The other Carey being from Australia. Wilson, Herring, Gross, and West. That's the field of 8. Rick Carey, the odds-on favorite, is in lane number 4. Dave Wilson of the United States in lane 5. Herring, New Zealand in 6. Goss of Canada in 7. West of Canada in 8. Barone of Sweden is in lane 1. And, of course, it is up and down the pool, 50 meters, backstroke.
Rick has a bone to pick with this Olympic swimming pool. It was too slow for him in the championship final in the 200 backstroke, so he's out to break the record by a wide margin here in the 100.
Well, he's in a very tightly bunched group as they come away, and in fact, here at the bottom of the pool and is Mike West of Canada and Sandy Goss, who are out very quickly as they turn after the first 50, and now we look on as Carey has taken a bit of a lead, perhaps no more than a couple of feet, as he works his way toward the wall and what could be the Olympic gold medal.
Notice how he's swimming in the lane close to Dave Wilson, USA teammate and roommate at the Olympic Village. These two are good friends, and they want to bring home the top 2 places for the United States. But again, Rick is thinking about stroke all the way to the wall for the medal.
And Carey is there, and his teammate Wilson is there right behind him. So Rick Carey does indeed win it, and he says to teammate Wilson, "We did it," as they exchange high fives in the water and salute the crowd that is in turn saluting them. 55.79, winner Rick Carey will say, "Listen, I think you're still the Olympic record holder."
Well, at least until Rick leads off the medley relay with a different backstroke.
At any rate, John Neighbor, belated congratulations again to you and to Rick Carey, winner of the 100-meter backstroke, and of course teammate Dave Wilson, who came in second. Third place to Mike West of Canada. He was in the lane nearest the camera, but Carey was the man that won it. Let's watch him as he comes away to start the event.
Off to a quick start. He likes to tuck his chin, then look over his head, so he enters the water as a diver would. Not just pushing into the pool from a wet start, but trying to be like a freestyler, jumping through the air and landing. Good double underwater dolphin kick as he pulls to the surface. He usually surfaces a little bit ahead and a little bit later than the rest of the field, so it works well for him.
Well, similar to yours, perhaps?
I think his is a lot better, frankly. Then he comes on the way back. You can notice he's concentrating about his head position. We caught him looking for the flags. His eyes were tilted back, but it didn't move his head at all. So he's looking to reach the wall very well. Good shoulder roll, good rotation, very strong kick is his trademark. Rick, the world record holder, didn't break it here, but certainly will in the future sometime.
Gary made a 1-2 finish in the 100-meter backstroke, and they congratulate each other for their gold and silver medal performance.
During the Olympics, Rick Carey's hometown of Mount Kisco, New York, named a street Rick
Carey, winner of the 100-meter backstroke, to accept the gold medal, and teammate Dave Wilson, the silver. The bronze medal going to Mike West of Canada. We saw young Rick Carey earlier, John Neighbor, and he appeared almost reluctant to accept the gold medal, thinking his time was not up, at least certainly to his standards or pre-race predictions. But he's a much more confident and assured young man as he stands there now, looking to accept his second gold medal of the game.
By winning in the 100-meter backstroke, it qualifies him to lead off the country's medley relay.
There's Carey, the announcement representing the United States of America, and he steps to the podium, salutes the crowd, bit of a smile on his face this time, a much happier winner.
He's receiving the award from a member of the International Olympic Committee. Mr. Kiyokawa was a gold medalist in the 100-meter backstroke in 1932 in Los Angeles.
And he invites him to stand with him on the platform, and they salute the crowd together. What a nice touch. What a nice touch.
Tough to really see the benefit of training that long and that hard for such a short amount of time. But it does work. It does pay off. Because one of the things that I tried to do when I was in the Olympics and every other meet was that I tried to make every practice perfect. You know, practice alone doesn't make perfect, but perfect practice does. And that's the one thing that I tried to remember, was that I wanted to know exactly how to do my turns. I wanted to know how to do my starts. I wanted to know how to do my stroke. I didn't want to have to think about that, because once the competition began, I wanted to think about my competition.
We pick up action with the 1,500-meter freestyle. The finals, of course. We've got 200 meters yet to go. Mike O'Brien of the United States, well out in front. He assumed the lead midway through this, what is actually the metric mile, a grueling event. O'Brien leading with George DiCarlo in second place. Vladimir Salnikov, the Russian, holds every record in this event, Olympic and world. And in fact, John, he's the only man that's ever gone 1,500 meters under 15 minutes.
Well, the Americans are trying to do that now. The bells you hear are an indication that there are 2 lengths remaining in the race, because many swimmers lose track after swimming 28 lengths of this pool. Mike O'Brien, he stands about 6 feet 6 inches tall. He gave up a year of school. He redshirted, if you will, training just to go to these Olympic Games, and this is a very good event for him. He's swum consistently well. His splits have been very, very consistent, very reassuring. And look at him now. He's swimming the last length of a 30-length race as if it was his first.
Well, it certainly is a test of endurance, if nothing else, and O'Brien is more than measuring up to that. Swimming second is his teammate, George DiCarlo. Stefan Pfeiffer of West Germany is third and closing rapidly. But the man who's going to win it as he touches first is Mike O'Brien. We'll see about second. That's DiCarlo. He is in for second, and Pfeiffer of West Germany touches the wall to get third. So the medalists are there. The gold medal to O'Brien, the silver to DiCarlo, and the bronze will go to Pfeiffer. And you see the times, well, not 15 minutes, just a tad over. But a win is a win, and for O'Brien, another gold medal performance for the United States.
Soviet Vladimir Salnikov set the only world record in the USC Olympic Swim Stadium prior to the '84 Games in the 800-meter freestyle.
Of Southern California, the 200-meter IM. And again, we look at the native-born Czechoslovakian, now a Canadian, Alex Baumann, who is quite obviously the world's best at this event, and will be looking for another gold medal performance out of him, John Neighbor. He truly is the man to beat.
He certainly is. He broke the Olympic record in the earlier preliminaries. He's a full half-second ahead of his nearest competitor, which at this point in time is Robin Brew from Great Britain. So the contest, everyone will be watching. Alex Bauman in the center lane, hoping to win Canada's second gold medal in men's swimming.
He won, of course, the 400 IM. We showed that to you earlier. Now he comes out very sober-faced and serious about the whole matter at hand. We mentioned the fact that he was a native-born Czechoslovakian. He and his family left there in 1968, and he says he has not been back since. First lane is Ralph Guzzle of West Germany. In lane number 2, Lapkarik of West Germany. Nikolai. 2 West Germans. Then comes Pablo Morales of the United States, who seems to be forever destined to chase Bauman to the wall. John Neighbor.
Pablo's had a fantastic meet here at these Olympic Games, but he seems to be coming up always a bridesmaid. Breaking world records, personal best times left and right, but he happens to be in lanes next to swimmers that are just a little bit faster on the day in question.
Like this man, Alex Bauman, who holds the world and Olympic records for this event, the 200 IM. He's going after his second personal gold medal performance. And he's the odds-on favorite to do just that.
Alex is a popular guy amongst all the swimmers because of his unassuming manner.
There's Robin Brew swimming in lane 5 from Great Britain. Neil Cochran of Great Britain will be swimming next to him in lane 6. So the 2 British swimmers side by side. There's Neil. Lane 7 will go to Steve Lundquist of the United States. Introduction for Cochran.
Steve has held the record in this event on a couple of occasions. He's always strong. He's a real tough competitor, although he's already won 3 gold medals, or 2 gold medals at these Olympics, and we wonder if he can keep it up.
Be interesting to see how well he fares. The last man, lane number 8, I mean just in the way they're being introduced, is from Jamaica. This is Andrew Phillips from Jamaica. He didn't affect the full shaved head routine, although maybe the barber just tired of the routine. He got half of it done anyway. So it'll be West Germany in lanes 1 and 2. Pablo Morales of the United States in lane 3. The man figured to be the best, Bauman in lane 4. And then it'll be Robin Brew, Cochran of Great Britain, Lundquist of the United States, and Phillips of Jamaica. Bauman has won the gold in the 400 IM. He's trying to make it a sweep. This being the 200. I'll remind you again that lane 8 is nearest to you. Lane 1 is farthest away as you watch the swimmers here at the swim stadium on the USC campus. On the blocks, take their mark. Pretty good start, although Phillips got off just a tad late. Didn't give you much time up there, and boom, you're gone.
Now, although this race is the 200-meter individual medley, it's really a 50-meter sprint of each of the 4 strokes. Pablo Morales out to a quick lead. He's got to establish some distance between himself and, of course, Alex Bauman if he wants to have a chance at the end of this race.
He's got a pretty good lead there, really. Morales went out very quickly. It was a body length in front. Makes the turn, you can see.
3 seconds ahead of world record pace. A fantastic first split. Remember, though, there's 3 more lengths of the pool to go.
Here's the backstroke. That'll be 50.
He looks like
turn and come back.
Looks like he's breathing hard after that butterfly sprint.
Breaststroke will be up next after the back, and then the 50-meter freestyle. Bauman is a very consistent, steady competitor. He's swimming in lane 4, and while Morales is leading, Bauman has just a bit of an edge as we watch him underwater at the turn. Morales now going into the breaststroke.
We should look for Steve Lundquist there, second to the bottom of the screen, to make big inroads on this breaststroke leg. And Bauman's no slouch in the breaststroke either.
Indeed he isn't, John. He's now caught Morales, and they are swimming stroke for stroke, side by side. That's Bauman with the hat, Morales without, swimming in lanes 3 and 4. Bauman the favorite to win this, and will have just 50 meters to go, freestyle. And who do you give the edge to in the freestyle?
Well, Bauman's certainly on a roll here. He's got a very long and strong-looking stroke. Pablo, by mere nature that he was fading a little bit, has to be favored for the silver medal.
So Bauman makes the turn and has the lead and bids fair to lengthen it out now over Morales as they swim the final 50 meters here.
We're looking for a 2:02.25. A 2:02.25 is the existing world record, and Alex Bauman is trying to improve that right now. Look at that kick.
And the big lead over Morales, who seems destined to finish second once again, to Bauman, the Canadian, bidding and touching the wall now for his second gold medal. Indeed it is Morales who comes in second, touching out of lane 6 for the third spot. For the bronze medal was Cochran of Great Britain, and Bauman, who looks like a man on a mission, raising his arm in a triumphant salute. His second gold medal, and he sets a new world and Olympic record, 2:01.42. Magnificent race, and Morales congratulates him once again. Pablo comes in second to the great Canadian swimmer, Alex Bauman.
Ladies and gentlemen, the scoreboard.
Bauman's second gold medal performance. And a shout from the winner out of the pool here at USC.
All 3 times that the men's 200 and 400-meter individual medley have been held, one swimmer has won both races.
For the men's competition, I'm Tom Kelly, along with Olympic gold medalist John Neighbor. The United States, Australia, Canada, 3 teams to watch. The United States has had this as their own permanent possession, John Neighbor. They take great pride in owning this.
Well, the American team looks very strong as well. They qualified second after the earlier preliminaries with their B squad, the silver medalists, if you will. And now 3 out of 4 of America's relay members are gold medalists in these individual events. Rick Carey won the 100 backstroke. Steve Lundquist won the 100 breaststroke. Rowdy Gaines, winner of the 100 freestyle. You put them all together with a silver medal in Pablo Morales' 100 butterfly, and it ought to be a world record performance from lane 5.
Well, your friend Rick Carey will be starting out in the backstroke and a chance to break the record that you hold for the Olympics. I don't want to wish him too much success, John. I would just as soon have him win, but not necessarily break your record, but we'll see what we shall see. West of Canada, and Carey of Australia, the other 2 initial starters.
A fantastic start for Rick Carey. Boy, he jumped off that gun, and he didn't slip his feet down the wall at all, so he got good sprint speed off the wall. He's well on his way.
Carey is leading. He is, and the United States team swimming out of lane 5. The Australians are in lane 4. You can see them matching him stride for stride. That is Carey with a K, and the Canadians swimming in lane 3, that'd be West. So they're very close, very competitive as they go the first 50.
Now, the Australians had the fastest time from the earlier preliminaries. He's racing against Mark Carey, who was a swimmer in my Olympics 8 years earlier.
Well, here's young Rick Carey of the United States widening his lead as he approaches the end of the first 50. You can see the time ticking away. There's the record, 55:60.
He's looking very strong, not slowing down a bit, and it's important to go right into the wall.
And he broke your record, I'm afraid, takes away the backstroke mark that you'd held since 76.
Well, hard come, easy go, I guess.
Steve Lundquist is in the water for the breaststroke, given that nice lead. Compliments of Rick Carey, Davis of Canada, Evans of Australia, his chief competition as you look head-on at Lundquist coming at you.
And there was a great thrill. The crowd acknowledged Rick's record in the middle of the relay. Good standing ovation for Rick Carey. Steve Lundquist not letting up the pace one iota.
In fact, he has a lengthy lead as he turns and heads for the final 50. Canada and the Australians having a very tough, close battle for second and third place. It's quite a battle for the bronze and the silver medals as you watch Steve Lundquist well in front. Next to him in the lane just above is Canada. And then that's Australia. Then just in lane number 3 with the white hat would be the Canadian.
Well, it's now Pablo Morales' turn to try for the Olympic gold medal that has eluded him so far this meet. A very well-paced start, and he has the strong advantage not only of being ahead, but in the lead. The water's a lot smoother. There's no turbulence. It's easier to breathe, and he's making some real headway here.
Indeed. He's taken a very big lead, and he's certainly maintaining it, if not lengthening it out. He's swimming against Ponting of Canada and Buchanan of Australia. Those are the chief competitors, and they, in turn, are having quite a battle among themselves for the silver and bronze. And Canada gets to the wall just ahead of the Australians. The Canadians are in the number 3 lane, the Australians number 4. But the man we're watching with avid interest is Pablo Morales, swimming for the United States in lane 5, completing his length of this 4x100. The freestyle will be next. And 2-time gold medalist Rowdy Gaines is waiting to leap into the pool, and he'll have a big lead, maybe insurmountable, as he hits the water. There's Gaines.
That was a slow exchange. Rowdy was taking no chances at a disqualification by an early jump. Remember, he's not racing the field. He's now racing the imaginary world record time in the back of his mind. So there's nothing being held back here. He's got to maintain his stroke. He's got to maintain his breathing so that his rhythm is strong all the way to the finish.
Well, given that big lead, it was well that he did take his time in hitting the water. Waste not, want not, and he has an insurmountable lead now, we would think, as he makes the turn and heads for home. Still that battle between Canada and Australia. Canada in lane number 3, Australia in lane number 4 in the battle for second place, the silver medal. Rowdy Gaines is bringing it home for the United States in the 4x100 and has a lead that nobody will be able to wipe out. This will be his 3rd gold medal for the old man of 25. Battle for second. Oh, they hit the wall almost together. Canada gets second, Australia third, and does the crowd love it?
The new world record for the 4-man team. Pablo Morales gets his gold medal, joining Steve Lundquist there with the towel, and Rick Carey and Rowdy Gaines. Rick Carey's dad acknowledging a 3rd medal for his son. And the place is absolute pandemonium. This is the final swimming event for the men's portion of the Olympic Games. Everybody's going home happy and having a big party tonight, I can tell.
And for Rowdy Gaines, life begins at 25. The United States in a new world and Olympic mark, 3:39:30. Notice the distance between themselves and Canada and Australia. What a battle for second. And the United States quartet of Carey, Lundquist, Morales, and Gaines, a happy foursome indeed, and why not? That flag, that towel, truly says it all. Thank you for a dream come true.
They present this medal that you've been training 15 years for, you know. And you look down and you see this medal, and the guy holds out his hands to congratulate you. The guy who presents your award. You bend down and he puts the medal around you, and you look at that thing and you go, God. You know, I've never even seen one of these things, let alone worn one, or even could say I was the recipient of one.
The award ceremony, Rick Carey, 3 gold medals for Carey. Steve Lundquist with 2. Pablo Morales, who may have been as good a swimmer as these or any other games you've ever seen, finally gets a gold medal, John Neighbor. And Rowdy Gaines, the old man of 25, collects 3. You had a day like this to remember in Montreal in '76 with 4 golds and a silver. It's tough to top something like this.
I don't think there's any experience that can possibly compare with standing on the platform in front of the eyes of the world and being acknowledged by all the countries in the world. You don't want to get off.
Next up, a fitting climax to a magnificent performance.